Hello, and welcome back to the Jackson Hearth. I hope that you have all had a great week, and I hope that you were able to learn a lot in our last video of the two different methods. And there are more, and again, there are much more. And for me, again, like I told you last time, I would use both methods, combine them in a way that would make it easier for me. But again, I think that we have to do our own way. We have to have our own style and what makes us comfortable to get to the end goal. So today we're going to be discussing the cluttered area and the high traffic areas. So give me a second and let me get our PowerPoint up. So again, this is going to be clutter hotspots and high traffic zones. So first, I've broken these up into two halves. So our first half, we're going to see about five, and there's five in the other. So there's 10 different areas, but I've broken it up into half. So the first half is kitchen countertops. Now, kitchen countertops can be a little tricky depending on where they are in the home. But this is normally the central hub of the house and where everyone comes to meet, where everybody passes through. It may be an area that you come into when you walk into your house, which happens to be a lot of times that I've had kitchens there, so it just catches everything. So this is going to be an area that we want to look really, really at really take a focus at. Maybe sit down, think about it, sit in the room. What do you want to see in your on your kitchen countertops? What do you want your kitchen to feel like? And that way you will know how to make sure that we are not cluttering and we're decluttering this hot spot. Now, entryways are drop zones. Entryways are, some people have, I know not everybody has a foyer or a foyer you walk into, but it's usually the last place items are to be held when coming into the house. So, and I'm sorry, it should be the first place, not the last place, but it's the first place that you see. So you walk into your foyer and you're gonna have maybe a table or hooks for your shoes, for your purse, for your book bag, for whatever it may be. This is gonna be another place you want to just take your time, look at, and really understand what you want your entryway or this area to look like. The kitchen utility drawer. Everybody has one. We call it the junk drawer. Now, this is the catch-all of all catch-alls, or it is in my house anyway. This is where I put everything. I don't care if it has to do with the kitchen. It could have put bills in it. It may have pencils. It may have pens. I think my junk drawer has a screwdriver, some pens. I think it has instructions. I think it has almost everything in it. And not only do you use it, but everyone in your house uses it. Now, and the problem is this is probably somewhere that you just don't know where else to put it. So it goes into this drawer. Now, I try to declutter and go through this drawer at least once every couple of weeks because that's usually that's the worst place that things tend to go when they need to be hid. And, maybe try to find a different place or maybe try to find a place for your bills. Put your bills in one location. Apologize. Put your tools make sure your tools and things are in one. So I try to make this junk drawer only for the kitchen use and try to find other places. Now, it hasn't been successful, but we don't give up. We keep pushing through. So, but it doesn't matter if you live in a mansion that has 9 bedrooms or 15 bedrooms, or if you live in me, I have a small studio house and I still have a junk drawer. Everybody has a junk drawer. It doesn't matter if you live in a tiny house or a mansion. Everybody has one of these, and they need to be gone through at least once every couple of weeks. Ah, this is another area, the desk or office area. Now, this is going to be kind of different than the rest of the house because in this room, you're probably going to have a lot of paperwork projects, supplies. Your kids may do their homework. Your husband or your wife may come in and just need to work your desk when, maybe they're having to work from home, or maybe they need a place to read or study, or anything like that. Your kids, may be in there doing their school project or studying. So this is going to be a place where you're going to have a lot of paper, a lot of projects, a lot of, maybe a stapler, tape, push pins. You could have calendars. You're going to have maybe have your book, maybe a library, maybe a study. But this is a place that I would make sure that you do continue to keep clean, because this is an area that you really need to focus on and be able to focus and stay organized and stay um, busy. And a lot of times, if it's messy or if it's cluttered, it doesn't allow you to have that flow that you are used to doing. So, what I used to do in my office is at least once a week, I would go through paperwork on my desk. I would make sure I'd file it or put it away. I would make sure to put the books up that I wasn't reading at the time. I would even make sure my pens were in the right spot. So this one I would do once a week to keep it decluttered. And if you can't, I mean, just kind of do the best you can. Again, this is just a process. There's no perfect science to it. I'm just kind of giving you things that I've done and do. And the second half is my favorite. This is never clean, and sadly, the nightstand or dresser tops. Now, these are flat surfaces, and sometimes it's usually beside your bed. Um, or the place where you undress and get dressed. I can tell you right now that my nightstand is definitely not decluttered. And if you don't believe me, you can feel free to ask my mom. She's seen it. It is very cluttered. And I try to go through it sadly about once every 2 weeks, but it tends to get cluttered because right now I know I have like 7 books on there. I have my laptops. I have my stuff for my medicines on there, and it's just cluttered. And sadly, this is my Achilles heel. I fail at this daily, weekly, monthly. So don't think that I'm perfect and I have a house that's decluttered, because I don't, because my nightstand is the thing that catches it, because it's the last thing I see at night before I go to sleep. So I just put wherever I have or where I'm using it goes on my nightstand. It may be a glass, it could be a plate, it could be a coffee cup, whatever it might be, goes on my nightstand, and I don't remove it. I don't know why until I start washing dishes, and then I do it. But again, this is just a place where it may be a place that is hard to keep decluttered, but we keep working at it. We don't stop. We continue to do it. We continue to look for things. And again, I'm not perfect at this. I'm having to continue to do it. It's something that is an ongoing process. Decluttering is not something that we do once and we stop. Decluttering is something that we continue to do over and over and over again and go through things. And, again, this is a learning process for everyone. I don't think anyone has mastered it. Now, coffee table or end tables, these can be a place where you in your living room where you relax. Now, a lot of things can happen here. Maybe your kids are doing schoolwork here. Maybe that's maybe you're having a relaxed evening. You're not eating at the table. You're eating in the living room. So there could be some glasses. There may be old glasses or plates that were left overnight. There might be homework everywhere. So again, this room is should be very easy to tidy up. This is a place that maybe has its place, has things that we can put your magazines on your coffee table or your end table. You have a couple of lamps, and maybe it's where you charge your cell phone or where you put your tablet. So this one, it's again going to take the process. And again, I have a problem with it sometimes, but again, I think that we just do our best and we continue. But this is an area that has been one of the toughest areas for me because it's where I spend the most of my time. Closets. Now, this could be a linen closet, this could be a hall closet, this could be a bedroom closet. But I specifically want to talk about linen closets and hall closets. Now, a hall closet might be, again, in your entryway. It could be a closet where you hang your shirts, you put your shoes, you put your vacuum cleaner, you have things in a shelf. You know, A linen closet. You probably keep your linens like your bath towels, your kitchen tables maybe go in the kitchen, but you could put your kitchen towels if you don't have it. You can put your sheets, your pillowcases, your blankets, your quilts, everything like that. What I would do is once to keep it decluttered, once it's organized, I go through and see what I'm not using. I see if I've used those in the last month. If I haven't used them in the last month, except for sheets, because you probably don't use those, monthly. But look at things that you don't do. If it's summer, take all your coats out and put them somewhere else to keep that hall closet really nice and clean. Or maybe want to keep your shoes in there. Make sure there's a place in it. Maybe get a shoe rack. There are multiple things to do. We can organize. If you want to keep your coats, just make sure they're hung on racks. Um, Maybe you want to put your kids' book bags in there. They have a special place for their bags to get them out of the way. But this isn't again, this is just going to take time, and you're going to if you see it getting disorganized, take your time. And this is what I do. If I see it getting cluttered and untidy, I take my time and reorganize it, restack it, and make sure that I have towels and bathcloths, sheets, pillowcases, blankets, quilts, and just organize it in that way. And just make it feel and flow the way you want it to flow and feel. Okay, so pantry and kitchen cabinets. Now, this is where you store high volume, like your food and your cooking um, items. Now, also, this may be where you keep your pots and pans. Some people, I know some women who put pans and pots in there, and they keep their crock pots, they keep their canning stuff. So you'd want to make sure that it's clean and you can see it. You don't, because especially for a pantry, it's where you put your food. So you want to make sure that your food, you go through that at least every couple of weeks to make sure the dates. And if you see one that's going to end, you keep it rotated. And that's how I do it. I look at it and look at dates, and then if it's going to get close to the date is going to run out, then I start to use it. But you're going to rotate that. It's kind of like first in, first out. And then in the pantry, the cabinet, especially the cabinets where you may have food, but you also may have your plates, you may have your cups, your glasses, and sometimes they get messy. Take your time once a week if you have it, take some time, maybe 30 minutes, and just look and just see if it's what you want. But again, before you start this, sit down and have a plan of how every room you want it to look. So high traffic zones. Now, high traffic zones are these in homes that are heavily used and traveled through. Now, it means that they are going to not only collect clutter there, but is also going to require the most frequent tidying and cleaning to stay functional. For example, your kitchen is probably going to be a high traffic zone. Your living room will be a high traffic zone. Your entryway will be a high traffic zone. Your hall closet maybe will be a high traffic zone. You're going to have these high traffic zones. You may, find out where your office is a high traffic zone. So these are the rooms that I would specifically write down or look at your house and see what your high traffic zones are. Write them down and just say how you want to look. Do your goals for those rooms. And when you get that and you look, okay, you say, okay, make this fun for the family. You say, okay, we're going to take 10 minutes or 15 minutes and we're going to tidy up everything. Or maybe you have these for chores for your kiddos to do, or maybe for your husband and yourself. You take a weekend, a Saturday, and you look at these high traffic areas and you say, okay, look, we've had a busy week, but there's no excuse. So now let's get everything back to where it was looking. This would keep your stress down. This would help the flow of the house. This would help make you feel organized and help you really to understand and have that focus on goals and the why. Now, again, we talked about the entryway, kitchen and dining room, the main hallway or staircase. You could have a staircase, so that's definitely going to be high traffic. So you may have a table as you come down your stairway. You may have a table as you're coming down. It may get a lot of things on it, but make sure or they may take off your shoes before you go upstairs. So those are things you just want to kind of keep tidy. You might want to move your shoes to the entryway closet. You may want to keep your main hallways, if you have things there. Living room and family room. Again, this is just going to be a place where everybody meets every day. You do homework, you hang out, you're having fun, you're watching movies, so you're watching TV. This is just the hangout room. And if you're sick, it's probably maybe one of the rooms that you lay in or stay in, so it may really get cluttered. Now, the main bathroom, I don't know because the main bathrooms, and I'm talking about maybe a half bath, or maybe your kids' bath, that people may have to use. That one it may not take long. Have your kids do that as a chore, 15 minutes. Have them go in there, wipe the glass, wipe the countertops, put things away that don't need away, make sure their bathtub is clean and things like that. I think if they do it daily or at least weekly and stay on it, this would be great. But you want to, it's cluttered, but when you go in there, make sure that I always say every place has a home. So a toothpaste has its home, toothbrush has a home, hairspray, cologne, perfume, makeup, gel for your hair, whatever it might be, it has a place. Designate a place. If it doesn't have a place now, designate a place for it. Find a place where you can put those things. The laundry room. Yes, this is by far probably one of the places that I struggled with because I would just throw dirty clothes in there and would just wash it. Not only do I have dirty clothes in there, I used to store my dog food in there. I used to store it used maybe a store. My laundry room actually became a storage unit, if you can believe it. So I was having to reach over everything to get there. But this is before I decluttered. So now I make sure that if I see it get a little bit cluttered, like so I could close the door and keep my trash in it for my dogs so they wouldn't get that. So I would do it at least every Saturday, as I clean my floors, wipe my cabinets in my kitchen, as I would, wash my dishes, put them in the dishwasher, wipe off all my stainless steel, wipe off the top of the glass and the cabinet doors, and do my pantry. I would then go into my laundry room where the trash would be taken out, all the boxes would go, everything would be straightened. So I use one day a week to go and clean everything and straighten everything and declutter again. Again, for me, I just find it easy to declutter weekly or monthly, depending on what I'm doing. But especially the laundry room, the main bathrooms, living room, the family room, the main hallways and stairways, kitchen and dining area, entryway or mudroom, those are going to need to be done weekly. And not only will this make you feel better, but it's going to really give you a place to relax. You're not going to have to, if you do it once a week, you do it maybe Saturday morning, you have Saturday evening, Sunday to relax, and you have the next week to enjoy the home, and it makes the beginning of the week less stressful, because you don't feel as cluttered in your mind because your house is not as cluttered. Believe me, it may not make sense now, but once you get everything done, it will make you feel better about how you feel, how your week is. I know it does for me. Now, the most effective and fastest strategy area, like I said, is to tackle in the high traffic areas is the flat surfaces first. Okay. What I mean about this is flat surfaces. Okay, so your kitchen counters, those are done. Your tables, those are done. Um, your your dining room table, your living room, your coffee tables, do those first. Now, once you've got the surfaces done, then you go back and you start cleaning the areas, to make the whole house look great and feel organized. So you're going to go back in, you're going to kind of maybe sweep up. You're going to go and, look at the chairs, look at the sofa, make sure there's nothing on maybe you have stools in your kitchen, but flat surfaces for sure need to be done. And that should take, maybe like I said, 15, 20 minutes. If you have some help, no more than an hour or two. But this way, you're wiping down, you're organizing. Even if you do not remove anything from the tables or the flat surfaces, you're at least stacking them and you're getting them in organization. That to me is very important. And I do that myself, is I may not clean it off, I may not declutter it, but I do stack it where it's organized. It may have the same amount of stuff on it, but I have put it in an organization. Like my books will go on my books, my notebooks will my notebooks. Um, my medicine or my medicine, whatever it might be that I have that I'm straightened up and that it's gotten out of control. And but I really, really do hope that this gives you an idea. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna post. I've got some type ups that I got to do. I'm gonna put a PowerPoint, not, maybe a PDF. I may do a PDF. I think that everybody likes PDFs on the Patreon page, and it's gonna have a weekly, like the first week's, week one you do this, week two you do this, week three. So it's gonna explain kind of what I do and what I've used. I find it very helpful. So week one, you do one and two, you may do kitchen and dining room. So it breaks down the rooms, and it's going to do that over 4 weeks. So each month you make your list of things to do. But again, this PowerPoint and there's other PowerPoints that have been on my Patreon page, and I will continue to be uploading that. And to the first of the year, my Patreon page is going to be free for everyone. I also want to let you guys know and ladies know that I will be doing videos only on my Patreon page at the first of the year. They'll be talking about my health and how I have actually been able to reverse some things in my life. And I would just like to tell you my story on how how I was really sick in 2019, and now I'm in 2025. I've been able to not really reverse things, but get everything under control. Again, that has to do a lot with decluttering. I think all this, sometimes your anxiety, your depression, your panic attacks can all come from things that have not been decluttered. So I really want to go into that more deeply, along with some other things, but that's only going to be on my Patreon page. Um, and if you have any questions, thoughts, concerns, or if you think of an idea for a video, let me know. And then after we get through decluttering, we're going to go into tiny living and homesteading. I'm going to talk about my tiny living, my tiny house, what I'm doing. I'm going to go, and you're going to be going on the journey with me to pick land, look at my tiny house. You're going to be able to see my floor plan that I'm going to be doing. So you're going to go on this journey with me. So, there's a lot of fun stuff coming. There's a lot of going to be some interesting topics that I have planned. But again, I wanted to do the declutter first. I think that is the first and foremost thing we have to do is we have to declutter. And today was one of those things that I think helped us to look at the different areas, the hot spot areas, the cluttered areas. I will be talking about, and I think it's next week. I will be talking about sentimental things and emotional declutter and how we do that. And our last video which will be the last week of this month, will be about emotional or mental declutter. Sorry, it's mental declutter and digital declutter. So again, thank you so much for watching. If you find this topic useful, please hit the like button and subscribe button. And again, check out the Patreon page, which there will be a link in the description for the PowerPoints, PDFs. There also the videos are there. And I will be transitioning a lot of stuff, a lot of private stuff over there that I can't talk about here on YouTube will be discussed in the Patreon after the first of the year. And everything, and I think the lowest you can is $2 a month. It won't let me do $1 for some reason. So it's $2 a month, but I will be talking more about that as we get to the end of the year. But again, thank you so much. And from my heart to yours, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.